Hey everyone, I'm Will and welcome to another video. In this one, we're going to be capturing the sunset and we are looking at something pretty promising. So at the moment, we've got a big clearing off to the southwest and then off to the north, this epic high cloud is really coming through and building up. So all being well, we should get some beautiful color. We're in Fiordland National Park and I've just left home. We're about 7:30 p.m. at the moment. It's summertime. We're heading into the mountains. So let's go find a nice location and set up for this sunset. I thought I'd just explain what's in the camera bag anyway. I'm not planning on hiking too far this afternoon, so I'm kind of carrying all the gear, which isn't that much really. I've got my Sony A7R5, been shooting with this body for a few years now. Tamron 28-75, that's my mid-range lens. I've got the 16-35 f2.8 and the Laowa 10mm prime. So this is kind of the standard gear that I'm using these days. I'm envisioning probably using the 16-35 or the 10mm. When you have a sunset, lots of beautiful cloud and color, going wide allows you to really emphasize that. So I'm hoping we can maybe get a real kind of classic grand landscape photograph this afternoon, combining forest, Ivo River and lake, mountains, and then the sky. Pretty much everything that I love out here in nature. We're at a classic location here. Lake, beautiful mountain vista, nice pocket of that sky as well. Problem, there's a very gentle breeze and I had a feeling this would happen because it's a bit of a southerly and the southerly breeze just cuts up the water. This would be good to shoot if we had some reflections, but it's not quite moving enough to even get some wave action. It's just that awkward in between water. So I think we're going to move on. Time's ticking though, so I'm starting to get a bit nervous if we're going to find something. Putting the boots on, which normally I don't, and then I end up regretting it. That just happens all the time with me, so it's surprising that I'm actually putting these on. Now, one thing that can happen when you're chasing a sunset or a sunrise, if you see the conditions getting nice, which it is now, you'll start to get, you'll feel your heart rate come up and you start to get anxious. The second you go down that path, it's a slippery slope to disaster because you're panicking and then you're going to force a shot. And anyway, long story short, you want to just be calm and relaxed. And one thing I always say to my clients, and I tell myself this, is you only need one photo here, one nice photo. You don't need to rush out and try to get 20 images because they're all going to be average. Let's just concentrate on getting one nice photo, the best one we can take. I parked up in a section of the valley, which I have explored this area before. I think I've got an image here from winter, but when you get really special light, it just opens up new opportunities. Summertime, so the grass is going to be extra long. We're just going to head down into the valley and then we'll talk about composition and what we look for and how we piece everything together. Feel peaceful out here, just epic. So what do we look for when you're photographing the grand landscape, which is something I've always loved doing and obviously kind of specialize in that? It can be overwhelming for people because you get out and you're like, where do I point the lens? And people just gravitate towards going for a very simple scene. The trick is to just have a clearly defined focal point or main subject. So as I'm looking along, there's a couple of mountains here. I want to narrow down one specific part of the mountains, and typically I don't want just a flat ridge line. I'm looking for a distinct peak. This direction here at the moment, it's got nice light, cloud, and it's coming to a nice point there. So I'm thinking that's the main focal point. And now all I worry about is how do I start to build out the composition and make it a more interesting image. I don't just want to zoom in and photograph the mountain by itself. I want to incorporate layers of different details, and that's how you make a more three-dimensional image with some impact in it. I've got some ferns here, I can see lupin flowers, I can hear the river. There's probably a lot of subject matter we can use, but first and foremost, start off with the main focal point. So just made my way along the river's edge. The concept was, let's get close to the river, and then hopefully we have some kind of plants or something to add in front of that. And that's exactly what we've got. We've got these ferns here. It's really good timing because some of these are fresh fronds, so the green is just quite vibrant. That's in the foreground. Then it leads us down to the river. The river has a wide to narrow perspective, so everything is just converging us in. And there's really two frames here in my opinion. The first one is these twin peaks. There's a hanging valley there with a waterfall in between. Have a look at this comp. I put on the 10mm prime, incredibly wide perspective, but you can see here how I've got the ferns in the foreground, the semi-reflection in the river, making sure that I'm not obstructing that with the ferns, and then everything's kind of leading us to that mountain range with the waterfall back there. So that's one perspective which I really like. 1/5 of a second, 1/6, giving us a very gentle drag on the river. Got the greens, love it. Now, that way is good, and it should actually get better as that light really fires up in the next 5 minutes. Back to our original mountain, and that's some really good sky at the moment too, so I might actually start shooting that in a moment, but more looking that way. Similar type concept, ferns, river, just building up. I just find this photography so fun, but it's challenging. I feel like people can think that wide angle photography is easy. You just put a wide angle on and shoot. It's not. It's putting pieces of the puzzle together and using those pieces to work to create the depth, to make it a more impactful three-dimensional image. There's a kaka flying along right there. Beautiful. No chance of photographing that though. Okay, I'm going to get to work and try to get some exposures here. Look at it go. What a burner. Just as we hoped. And yeah, really enjoying looking towards those twin peaks, the hanging valley. There's a waterfall there, and these green ferns. The light is just blasting these ferns, and like I said, fresh fronds. They look really good in the light. So from a photography standpoint, what I'm really concentrating on is not losing my highlight detail, because otherwise we're going to lose the color. I'm not too concerned about the shadows, because these cameras, these modern mirrorless cameras with the dynamic range, we've got good shadow recovery. And we don't need the shadows to be bright. We just got to pull them up a little. So if you have a look here at my histogram, settings wise, I'm at F11 because I'm really close to that foreground. F11, I've bumped the ISO to 200 now. Shutter speed's varying. At the moment, I'm on 1/3 of a second. And see the histogram, I'm just letting it kiss the highlights. Could even let in a bit more light if we wanted to. Slow the shutter down slightly. It's just got to be careful because I'm handheld. And trying to make sure those ferns are not overlapping and hitting those reflections on the mountains back there. But keep an eye on the highlights. That's the main thing when you're shooting these dynamic range scenes where you've got a lot of dark and a lot of bright. Protect the highlights, lift up the dark tones later on. It's all about reacting to the conditions. Remember when we first got down here, I was quite determined to look this direction. It's slightly more to the north. That cloud has just kept on moving along. There's no cloud there now, which means no color. All the action is down here. So thankfully we've ended up at a spot where we can face that way as well. So if you can, guys, just watch the sky and react accordingly and try to align your subject matter with that best cloud. It's no point getting that cloud and that color if you don't have a good subject there. So you got to try and combine the two worlds. Two more pointers. Number one, I know I said you only need one nice photo, but don't get stuck just shooting the same comp over and over and over. Try to move around a little bit in the field once you get in a nice area. That's what I've done here. I've just moved up and down the riverbank slightly. I've also varied from horizontal frames to vertical frames. The goal is still just to get one keeper, but you want to go home with some variety. And the last tip as well is when you're using an ultra wide lens like I am, if you position the horizon dead center, you'll find that the mountains look quite small because of the curvature of the lens. So typically I angle down slightly, and when you do that, it will just lift the mountains, give them a little bit of a stretch, and that helps make them look more grand, kind of how the human eye is seeing them, because these wide angles will just push them far away. So make sure you're close to the mountains with the wide angle and then a slight tilt down. All right, I just thought I'd run through some of the raw files and different compositions. looking at this image here, this is where I initially thought we were going to be facing. I like this range in the distance, but basically what happened was the cloud drifted away and the light, which was hitting these mountains, dropped off. So I just adapted and I said, you know what, I'm not going to face this way. When you put your back to the sun, you'll get softer, more pastel light, and that's beautiful, but I really like more of a tonal range. I like to shoot towards highlights as much as possible. I think it just helps you dictate where the eye goes and basically anchor the whole image. So you see the difference from this type of light to that type of light. We've got the major highlight here in this area of the sky, and where do I want people to go? Around this mountain range, these twin peaks basically. So everything's kind of dictating where people should view. We've got the river curving in there, leading us through, the strong source of light, and then the big obvious dominant shapes to anchor the eye. Everything else is just there for balance. So we've got a bit of a mountain on the far left, mountain on the far right, clouds tapering in, just how the river's tapering in. So there's a lot going on there to hopefully encourage people to just float through and enjoy the whole frame. That's the goal. Basically, the goal with your compositions is to not have people lost and wandering around. You want people to just look and enjoy it, feel like they're there immersed in the environment. The raw file, so remember, shooting for the highlights. This is not a processing video, this one. Check out the rest of the channel for that stuff, or the course in the link below. But the raw, we're starting from that. So huge dynamic range, exposing for those highlights, and then here in processing, I'm bringing it all together. But back to composition and talking about that, these are the variations. So I've got a horizontal where I'm filling the frame, basically getting the ferns all the way through the bottom. Then I did a horizontal where I purposely left an open space down here, a little bit of breathing space for the river to really go from wide to narrow, big diminishing perspective there. I also did a vertical frame. I really find verticals tricky, to be honest. People have asked me this on the channel before, why don't I shoot the vertical orientation much? I just think it's really hard because you're simplifying so much of the landscape. But often in the landscape, there's a lot there that I want to incorporate. Like I said, in the horizontal, we have an opportunity now to create some balance. So I've got those ridges either side there, which are just counterbalancing. I just think it gives a bit more breathing space. However, I do like this vertical frame, and I've got lots of verticals in my portfolio, so they definitely work, but it is something that is a little bit more challenging in my opinion. I do like this vertical frame 100%, but I also like these horizontals, so I'm not exactly sure. And then at the end, horizontal again, the light faded a lot by this stage, and I used some lupin flowers in the foreground. Now, I'm pretty 100% confident actually that I won't be keeping these ones because the lupins are a weed, but I'm more of a sucker for these greens and the native ferns. I just think it looks a lot nicer, but I couldn't resist just getting a hint of these purples in there. But now that I'm comparing them, I just love the ferns, and I love that luminosity that we're getting on those ferns too, a real rich color tonality in there. So I'm at the point now where I'll just let these marinate and let them sit, and hopefully when I revisit at a later date, I'll just probably know which is going to be the one. And yeah, the processing, it's 95% done, but again, let's let it marinate, and then I'll just make those subtle adjustments, whether it's cooling, warming, brighter, darker. So I encourage you guys, shoot more out in the field, give yourself some variations in your compositions. If you find a comp you like, that's great, but just think, all right, I'll come back to this one if the light changes. And that's basically what I did. I was shooting the ferns, then I walked elsewhere, then I'd come back as the light was changing. I'd keep revisiting the comps that I like. And that way, when I get back here, I've got some variety to go through, and then I can make the best choice once the emotion's faded and I've let these sit and marinate for some time. So yeah, definitely one of these three, I think. I'm just not 100% certain yet, but look, they're pretty similar anyway. You get the idea. Thanks so much for viewing the video. Leave any questions or comments below. Love to hear your thoughts on which one you might like. Keep an eye on the skies so you can get this type of light. Doesn't happen often, but you're going to miss it if you're not watching, so pay attention. Thank you for supporting the channel. It means a lot. Cheers.